intending pilgrims to pay over 4.5 million naira for 2024 Hajj. Governor Malam Umar Namadi orders immediate verification of Jigawa workers. Airlines urged to resume Sudan flights after Egypt air trip. Today is 20th Safar 1445 after the Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is equivalent to 6th September 2023. I am Salamatun Aliman with the news and full. The Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja has dismissed the allegation of that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was convicted in the United States of America, USA, on a drug trafficking-related charge. The court, in its lead judgment in the joint petition was filed by the Labour Party and its candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, which held that evidence before it established that the $460,000 fine that was imposed on Tinubu in the US was in a civil matter. It held that such fine did not translate to a criminal conviction that was capable of warranting Tinubu's disqualification from contesting the presidential election that held on February 25th. More so, the court held that Obi and the Labour Party failed to show that the Tinubu was indicted, arraigned, tried or convicted for any criminal offense in the USA. The court further noted that following a letter the Inspector General of Police wrote in 2003, the American Embassy confirmed that there was no criminal record against Tinubu in its centralized information center. It held that both the letter from the IGP and the response from the US Embassy were public documents that are admissible in evidence. Meanwhile, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, led by Justice Haruna Samani, has dismissed the claims of the Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi that they won 25% of needed votes in Federal Capital Territory. During the 2023 presidential election on February 25th, Labour Party and Obi won 25% by securing about 59% of the votes cast. Neither President Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress with 19%, nor Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party with 15% scored up to 25% of the votes in the Nigerian capital. Ruling on the petition, the five-man tribunal dismissed the charge, saying Abuja is like the other 36 states of the Federation. According to the tribunal, FCT residents have no special privileges, as the petitioners claimed. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, urged State Pilgrims Welfare Board to collect 4.5 million naira as deposit from intending pilgrims for the 2024 exercise. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Rayuwa Hassan, gave the directive during a meeting with chairmen and executive secretaries for the State Pilgrim Board in Abuja yesterday. According to him, the fare for the next Hajj will be expensive due to the unification of foreign exchange by the federal government. Mr. Hassan noted that with the dollar currency at 750 naira, the commission is not certain what the price for pilgrims will be owing to the fluctuation of forex. He said the deposit might change depending on the performance of naira. Mr. Hassan, who noted that the preparation for the 2024 pilgrimage had begun, said the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will end the issuance of visa 45 days to Arafah. He said this will stop state governors from changing the names of approved pilgrims to accommodate new ones. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has approved an upward price increase in the price of prepaid electricity meters in the country. In a circular signed by the Commission's chairman and Commissioner Legal Licensing and Compliance, Sanusi Garba and Dafi Akbeniyi, respectively, said that a single-phase prepaid meter will now cost each 1,975 naira 16 kobo from 58,661 naira 69 naira while three-phase prepaid meters is increased to 143,836 naira point 10 kobo from 109,684.36 kobo. The circular said the new price was to ensure a fair and reasonable pricing of meters to both maps and end-use customers. The National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal in Kogi State has nullified the victory of Senator Abubakar Ohere as the winner of the Kogi Central Senatorial election. Natasha Akpoti Odogan of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) was declared as winner of the February 25th parliamentary election in an anonymous judgment of the three-man panel. The tribunal chairman, Justice K.A. Orejeko, said Ohere's results were inflated in 9 polling units of Ajakuta local government in the said election. He added that votes of the PDP candidate in the said election was intentional, reduced in 9 polling units by the INEC Ward Coalition officers. Justice K.A. Ojeko also stated that 3 other polling unit result was deliberately not entered for the PDP candidate in the same local government. The tribunal added that it is not the duty of coalition officers to reject results submitted by presiding officers from polling units in election that follow the electoral guidelines substantially. The tribunal therefore subsequently ordered the third respondent to withdraw the certificate of returns issued to Ohere and issue same to the PDP candidate. The tribunal, however, ordered INEC to pay 500,000 naira to the PDP candidate for subverting justice in the senatorial election. Social media users have started reacting to trending photos and video clips of some prominent Nigerians and lawyers who were captured on TV sleeping during the proceedings of the presidential election petitions tribunal today. Those seen dozing off some hours into the court session include the former Kano governor and national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, Minister of Aviation Festus Keyamo, Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad, lawyers, and some journalists. The judgment is on 3 cases challenging the outcome of the February 25th presidential election that produced Bola Ahmed Tinubu as winner. The Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi has ordered immediate verification of workers in the state. Namadi stated this yesterday while highlighting some of his achievements after 100 days in office at the government house, Duse. He said the introduction of a personnel payroll verification exercise is part of the present administration's effort to improve service delivery. Governor Namadi explained that the idea behind the IPPIMS in the state is not to get value for the state's money and is also part of the phase 1 of the IPIMS implementation by the state government. He added that the exercise will allow the state government to know the exact workforce and its gaps. He urged the state workers to give the necessary cooperation for the success of the exercise. Sawaba Radio earlier reported that the massive retirement and employment embargo put in place by this previous administration has paralyzed civil service in the state. Jigawa State Governor Malam Umar Namadi's speech to mark his 100 days in office, he spoke on his achievement in the implementation of his 12-point agendas. He started with the education sector.
Education sector, what we did is we decided to break the list of education into 2 components for basic education and higher education. This will give more concentration to see what we can do to ensure that education is given a better priority. We have appointed commissioners. If you look at the combination of our cabinets, you will see that we have brought in people of integrity and people who knows what they are doing. And today, I can say that within this period of 100 days, the grassroots education sector has seen a revolution in the sense that they have known that the system there to improve the sector. We have introduced inspection system. That system of inspection is where you can ensure that people have attended school, teachers are in school, and that has not given only the courage to the teachers, but also the parents have now seen that there is a change in the education administration. In addition to that, we have also put in place a system that will ensure quality of education. We have reorganized the basic education system. The universal basic education systems, we have introduced some changes. Even on the exams we have conducted recently, it shows that there are changes and people are happy with what we have done. So actually, we have put in place based on our 12-point agenda to see how we can integrate, bring in the Quran education system into the major education system. The Zandaya systems also we are trying to polish it and bring it into the main education system so that we can see that they are all part and parcel of the system, and that will reduce the number of out of school children. That has also made us to appoint we have appointed two visual advisors for the entire system, and very soon we are going to add additional ones so that one from each territorial list that will help coordinate the issue of Bangladesh. The issue of school enrollment, we have taken it head on to ensure that people have gone to school, and that is working very well. At the secondary, tertiary level of education, we have tried as much as possible to see what we can do to improve the system. So far, we have put in committee in our higher institutions, check how the academic activities are taking place in those almost all our tertiary institutions. For us, we have put in an expert to review the academic programs and also the academic activities, and then the relationship between the student, the teachers, and everybody, so that we can understand what is going on. That all are in effort to see that the quality of education has been given the deserved attention.
That was the governor of Jigawa State, Malam Namadi, Umar Namadi. A gang of armed robbers nearly escaped death at the hand of angry community members of Tegi village in Kafna Hausa local government area of Jigawa State. A resident told newsmen that the incident happened on Monday when a gang of armed robbers blocked the Hadeja highway. He said community members of Tegi village and its environs gathered and attacked the hoodlum. Police spokesman DSP Lawan Shisu Adam confirmed the incident. He said police received information that a gang of armed robbers blocked a gate to Hadija Highway and robbed people of their belongings. Shisu said the police rescued the wounded robber and took him to the General Hospital, Kafana Hausa, for treatment. He said live ammunition, one expended cartridge, and the sum of that 7,000 naira were recovered from the suspect. He added that an investigation was ongoing to arrest the other suspect. The news is coming to you from studios of Sawaba Radio. Mornings after the short break. Stay tuned.
This is News on the Hour, Sawaba Radio FM. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're listening to the services of Sawaba Radio 104.9 Hadija. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees says no fewer than 35,000 people have been killed since the inception of the insurgency in the Northeast in 2009 to August 2023. Ms. Elsie Mills Titi, United Nations High Commission for Refugees head of the Adamawa office, disclosed this as a training for military personnel on human rights, humanitarian principles, and civilian protection in Yola today. News Agency of Nigeria reported the training was organized by the National Human Rights Commission in collaboration with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Mills Titi, who was represented by Umar Abdullahi, Assistant Protection Officer, said this was according to the Global Center for Responsibility to Protect report of August 2023. According to her, the implication of this act to the economy and the social development of Borno, Adamawa, Yobe, and Nigeria at large can never be overemphasized. She added that in 2022, the United Nations High Commission Refugee reported that it's investigated complaints on human rights as well as assisted victims in seeking redress. The 2022 United Nations Commission for Refugee report also indicated that the incidents of insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, farmer herders clashes, and attacks by gunmen continue to increase with the attendant number of internally displaced persons who face enormous human rights violation. Now to international scene. Sudan's government has encouraged airlines to resume flights to Sudan after Egypt Air became the first commercial flight to enter or leave Sudan since its descent into flight conflict in April. The Egypt Air flight carried more than 100 passengers from Egypt's capital, Cairo, to the eastern Sudan city of Port Sudan on Tuesday morning and returned to Egypt in the afternoon. Red Sea State Governor Fatah Lam Hajj Ahmed told media that the flight by Egypt Air signaled that Sudan was safe and stable for international flights. Sudan closed its airspace in April this year after a power struggle between the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group escalated into conflict. On 15 August, the Sudan Civil Aviation Authority announced that it had reopened airspace in the eastern part of the country. Egypt Consul General to the Sudan, Sami Farouk, said that Egypt Air will operate a weekly return flight between Egypt and Sudan. Egypt President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said that the country needs to slow its birth rate to avoid a catastrophe. He said that Egypt has to lower its annual birth to 400,000 from the current more than 2 million for the country to efficiently provide jobs and social service to its citizens. Mr. Al-Sisi also faulted remarks by Khalid Abdel Ghaffar, Egypt's health and population minister, that having children is a matter of complete freedom. He hinted that Egypt could emulate China's one-child policy since China succeeded in their population control policy. Since 2000, population of Egypt, one of Africa's most populous countries, has grown by 40 million to reach 105 million people, according to Mr. Abdel Ghaffar. Mr. Al-Sisi also said that other African countries should adopt population control measures as the continent lacks enough resources for its surging population. African leaders have issued a declaration proposing new taxes across the world to fund action against climate change. The Nairobi declaration was issued at the end of three-day African Climate Summit in the Kenyan capital. The head of state said the declaration will form the basis of the negotiation position at November's COP28 summit in Dubai. Researchers say that despite suffering from some of the worst impacts of climate change, the continent only receives about 12% of the financing it needs. Gabon's military leader, Gen. Brice Oligui Nguema, met the opposition candidate Albert Ondo Osa as part of consultations on rebuilding the country. Mr. Osa was the main challenger to the ousted President Ali Bongo in the election, which was annulled when the military seized power last week. The military authorities appear to be courting the support of the opposition to chart a new path for Gabon. Mr. Osa boycotted Monday's inauguration ceremony of General Nguema. He indicated that he had won the annulled elections and should have been sworn in as president. The meeting between the two could mean the opposition may have a role to play in the interim government. Mr. Osa gave no details but said the talks focus on transition and restoration of government institutions. Last Wednesday's coup seems to be enjoying some popular support, but many are uncertain about the future. Gen Nguema has not said when he plans to return the country to civilian rule. Meanwhile, the junta has released some prisoners, including pro-democracy activists and leader of the most powerful trade union confederation, Gen Remy Yama. That has been the news. Before I go, a recap of the major stories. From the news, we all heard intending pilgrims to pay over 4.5 million naira for 2024 Hajj. Governor Malam Omar Namadi orders immediate verification of Jigar workers. On the international scene, airline urged to resume Sudan flights after Egypt air trip. That has been the news. On behalf of the news editor, Lukman Dahiru, Akanchita announcer, Salma Adam Iko. I am Salamatu Noor Eliman saying good night.